I'm going to keep going down here. And it's really built for teachers. I think with our access now, we did get, with the COVID-19 closures, Nearpod really opened up a lot of their features. So you should be able to go into the library and see what other teachers have created, what other companies have created, and I will show you all that stuff as well, which is always nice. We don't have to build it brand new. And then a lot of the features that are the interactive parts, they're questions, they can be quizzes, they can be virtual field trips, a game within your presentation, lots of different things that you can do with your students. And the nice thing with this is that you can have it where you're in the classroom and you're doing this with the students at the same time, or you can assign it to the students. The students at home, when they can open it up, when they're available, they open it up, and then they can participate in all of these different questions. They find out the answers, they do all that kind of stuff without you needing to be there to change the slides. They do that themselves. So I will show you what that looks like as well. So really fun, awesome stuff in here. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started. So as usual, under Clever, we have connected Nearpod with our Clever account. It creates an account for all of our students through Google. So it's found under that More Apps, and Nearpod looks like this. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. That'll be one of the things on that website that will change. We had not yet gotten confirmation that Nearpod would be available, so I did it based off of if you were creating your own account. So I will have to go in and change that, but all you'll have to do is just go through Clever and open it up, maybe. So this will be really nice for our students. Our students, if they were in the classroom, they would go just like they would for a lot of the different tools that are available now. It would be given a little code. So here is where you start your main page. Any projects that you currently have will show up here. And then you can see you have the create your own, a lesson in Google Slides or a lesson in Nearpod. So you can build it completely from Nearpod, or you can take a lesson that you've created in Google Classroom and then add those different slides in there. So I'll show you how to do that. So you can see I have one already open, and I will show you how I'm going to add Google Slides or add these different slides into my Google Slides. The other stuff over on the right here will show you have your Nearpod lesson library, your school library, and your district library. So if you are building a lesson that you think would be really beneficial for everyone that teaches your level, you can always share that on the district library, and then anyone can see those lessons. So I'll click on district library because I believe we have a few on here already. School library will just go to anybody that's in your school specifically. So if you're wanting to share different slides or a slide deck with one of your co-teachers, you can definitely do that. So we do have some different slides on here already, and it has different topics, and you are welcome to use any of these. It will ask you to add it to your library. You can preview it to sort of see what those slides are on there. You can edit everything on here. So even though you're getting it shared from someone else, as soon as you click on that add to my library, it's now essentially create a copy, and so now you can fix it however you want. The Nearpod lesson library is probably my favorite feature from here because there are just so many pre-made topics that you can do. So they have top ELA, math, science, social studies, life skills, anything you can think of would be found here. You can also change your subject here, and it's by grade level as well. And you have virtual reality ones, you have full lessons, skill builders, all those kinds of things are found on here. So I'll just go to publisher here, and you can see, so News ELA has some for 312. Let's see, Desmos has some, BBC Worldwide has some, CK12 has some pre-made lessons for 612, Civics, Common Sense Media has some. So you can really go here and you can find some slides that are already pre-made, tailor them to what your class is currently working on or what would fit your students' needs, and then you can go ahead and share those with your staff or with your students. So fun tool. It even has Zumba, so for some PE, you have that there. But so you can definitely look through any of these, tailor it by the subject, the grade, the resource type, and then you can also, I believe our state standards will be in here too, so you could also base it off of the Washington standards to sort of fit those. So, and all of your different subjects. So that's just a little bit of a tour of Nearpod. Go back to my library. So you can see I do already have two. When I was creating my instructional videos, I created a little five slide deck on Google Slides, so I'm going to be using that. It's over the American Revolution. The history major in me was like, oh, if I had to pick a subject, I'm just going to pick history because it's easy for me. So I have my slides right here, and they're all ready to go. So to add my interactive slides through Nearpod, under Add-ons, you should see Nearpod, and then you just open that up. And Nearpod has been added by the district, so everyone should already have that. If it does not show up, you can go to Get Add-ons, find Nearpod, and then upload it from there. But it should already be there. When I went to double check and make sure it had said that it was downloaded by the district. So it might ask you to log into Nearpod, so just use your school account through Google to get through there. It loads. To ask you to select what slides you want to add. So when you're working on this, make sure that you have selected the slide that you want it to go after. So these slides will go after slide 2. And there are so many different options. So BBC Video are videos, instructional videos from BBC you can use. So if you're worried about using YouTube, you can use this, and it has tons of different tools there. Collaborate is like a tack board, so people can post ideas on there, so you can give them a question and they can do that. Draw, if you're working with our younger students, you can have them draw their interpretation of a vocabulary term, or they can draw out their answer if they're doing a math problem. Field trips, so these are 360 pictures of anywhere in the world. So for me, I'm going to be looking at if I can find a picture of a historical place in the American Revolution. And so then students can go through, and if they're looking at this on a phone or a tablet, they can look around and see a 360 picture of a specific area. If they're on a computer, they can click on the mouse and they can, move it back and forth. So some really fun features there to sort of take our students on a little trip. Fill in the blank, so if you want them to fill in, a questionnaire, or if you want them to be practicing vocabulary within a sentence, you can use that. Flipgrid, so that's what I am going to be talking about tomorrow. So Flipgrid, you can post a video, or you can have them click on that and it will take them over to Flipgrid to post a video-based discussion. For our older students, there is a graphing calculator, so you can have them work on that. Matching pairs, so you can have them working on sight words. Memory test, same thing. Nearpod 3D only works if they're on a tablet, so I tend to stay away from that one because I don't want to, assume that everyone has the same device. Open-ended questions are for a long, if you have a big text box that you want to ask a question. So they can fill out as many answers as they want, and then they'll see a big list of those. A PDF viewer, so if you want to upload a PDF for them to look at, you can do that there. A poll, so if you want to get, students' opinions, you can see it there. And then they also have a quiz, and you can have multiple questions. It's not just one question, then they go forward. It's, all right, take this quiz. Here's 5 questions I have for you, and they're multiple choice or short answer, I believe. And then you can also put a slideshow within here. So if you want to stop and then go through the vocabulary of the day, instead of creating individual slides, you can do a slideshow that shows all the vocabulary terms, and then you can move on one thing. Really cool. Sway is a Microsoft tool, so I don't think we'll have access to that because I think it's only for Microsoft 365 if you have content. And then the time to climb is a rapid fire gamified quiz. So you can create, if you click on that time to climb, you can create a bunch of questions, and students will get in there. They pick out a little avatar, and they're trying to climb to the top of the mountain. And each season they have a different theme for it. So sometimes they'll have a winterfied theme, or a summer theme, or a different holiday theme. For their little avatars, and they have to quickly answer the questions, and the competition is to get to the top first. And it doesn't just base it off of how if they get the answer right, but also if they're the fastest one at answering. So it really helps our students really be able to answer those questions as quickly as possible. So that might be something fun at the end to sort of help review what they're doing, and sort of so you can really see what they're doing in the classroom. When you're seeing students participate in this, it's super fun to see, because you can see that they're getting frustrated because, oh, you beat me by 2 seconds, or I just answered that. So it can be really fun to go through those. So I'm going to go back up to the top here, and I'm going to just start adding some of these slides. I will click first on BBC Video, and it will open up a second box, and it will start giving me some different options from Nearpod. So this one is BBC Video, so it's going to give me some categories and then some staff picks. So I'm going to go down to History, and I see all kinds of different topics they have. So I'm just going to do America Unites Continental Congress. I'm going to click that one, add that, and then it will add as a slide on my slide deck. Maybe. There it goes. So you can see the the specific kind of slide that I requested. I can edit this slide at any time. I can add my notes. So if I want to say, okay, I'm going to be talking about joining, maybe. There it goes. So this one will give me a little short video so I can look at that. So I'm ready to go for that one. I'm going to click, and I will show you what this looks like as a student when we're all done. So I'm going to skip these two, because if you're working in the classroom, the Collaborate feature is a really cool one. I would not recommend it on their own, because you're not able to really look at it. When you're using the Collaborate, you have the option of limiting or approving of their messages before it becomes on the board. You cannot do that when you're assigning them, so making sure. And then the draw it feature is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm going to leave those two and go down to the field trip. So I'm going to click on field trip. It's going to open up my box again. All right, so here's some different suggestions they have. I'm going to look up Philadelphia, because that's a main place for the American Revolution, and see what they offer. So these are pictures that someone has gone around and taken, and you can go anywhere in the world. So maybe if you're just wanting them to have a little bit of fun to start off with, you can say, okay, we're going to take a tour of, Africa today, or anything like that. So I'm going to go through, and here's Independence Hall. So I'm going to take it. I want to do Independence Hall. Once I've clicked on that, I can either preview it, and so this is going to show me what the students are going to see. Maybe. Here it goes. So I can click, and I can look around. There's Independence Hall. There's the Liberty Bell building over there. The Convention Center. I was here last year, so that's why I know this area pretty well. And then the Constitution Building Museum is up on top here. So students can go through, and they can really see, where the Declaration was signed, and where, they convened, and that kind of stuff, all from their, from their bedroom. So I like this one, so I'm going to click Done, and that's going to add that slide to my slide deck. Alright, so I'm going to move on. I'll talk about Flipgrid tomorrow. I'm going to be doing this open-ended question. So I'm going to go through to say after this one, I want to do an open-ended question. I think for me, I use these quite a lot because I really want to sort of see our students, being able to answer those questions. So here, let's see what question I have. So I have my simple question here, and then I have some options over here. So my add timer limits the amount of time that they sit on a specific question. This is a nice classroom management tool when you are in the classroom. I don't think you really need to add this in when they're at home. If you don't want them to be sitting, really thinking and starting to talk and that kind of stuff, you can add, after 3 minutes, the activity will stop and they have to move on to the next one. You can add that or not. For our EL students, a lot of times they really suggest that we add some visuals, so you can always add a reference. You can add a little clip of a video, you can add a picture, different documents here. And then this is brand new. This is a sort of beta thing where you can have that on, and instead of students writing out their answer, they can record themselves answering that question. So that might be nice for our EL students that are still, they're not really confident in their writing ability, but they still want to be able to answer their question. So I can turn that on if I want, and then I will click save. It's going to load. And there's my open-ended question. Now some of them are going to show me little previews, and then sometimes they're just going to say open-ended question, and so if I want it, I can put it down here, but it looks like this one will give me the question. When it first started using it and they added this add-on this summer, you could not see anything on here. It was just said open-ended question, and you really had to go back and edit to really find out what question you would ask there. So I always put mine in the speaker notes down here. So I'm going to add another question. I'm going to do a poll. And with my poll, these are multiple choice. I can, give a right answer. That's sort of from the quiz, but I can ask different questions. So I'm going to say, my grammar's not the greatest there, but I'm just going to add that. And so I want to say George Washington. Goodness, I can't spell today. Washington. Addons. Milton. And Thomas Jefferson. So I can add as many answers as I want. Just like last time, I can add a reference. So if I want to put all four of these men's pictures up here so that my students know who I'm talking about, I can add a timer. So if I want them to just quickly go through, I can do that as well. And then once I'm ready to go, I'll click save. So these are, it might be something at the beginning of your slides. You might have a poll and, especially during this time, maybe say, how are you doing? And then give them, 4 different options. I'm doing okay, I'm doing good, I'm not doing good. And just a quick, thing for you to sort of see how your students are doing at this time. And then I'll go over to the quiz here. Alright, so I have, just like the other ones, I have the reference, the question, my different options. When I'm ready with my specific or the right answer, I'll click on that little check mark. It'll turn green, and that shows that that's the right answer. If I want to add a second question, I just click Add Question, and now it's a quiz 1 of 2. So I can title this and then I can go through. So I'm going to delete this question here, and then I'm going to put my question. And 1783, and that's the right answer. And I am not memorizing these. I have these written down, so I did not forget. But I can put a timer, so if I want to give the students, 15 minutes to answer 4 questions or whatever, I can, or I can just let them go as long as they want to answer these questions, and then go ahead and save that. All right, so, I'm sorry, I forgot a couple. So I have, after the time to climb, I have 2 more. I have a video, so this is like a YouTube video that I want to add in, or a web content. So I'll click on video here. And I found this YouTube video over from Crash Course World History. I'm going to take that and then go back to my slide deck here. And it will look from YouTube to, you can upload it from your computer, from the cloud, anywhere you want. So I'm just going to put that in. And it will find my video. And the nice thing about adding a YouTube video into here is that it will not take the kids over to YouTube. So you're not having to worry about what they're seeing on the side and the comments and that kind of stuff. It's all embedded within your presentation. Which can be really beneficial for our students. So another great way, so you can see the American Revolution on there. And then I have one final thing. So they have the web content. Another really nice tool to sort of make sure that our students aren't clicking on so many buttons is the web content. So I'll click on web content, and I have a summary of the American Revolution from history, from the history.com. So I'll copy that, come back to my slides, and then paste that. And then I can test this link to make sure, because as you know, sometimes those websites will be blocked. We're not going to worry about that so much at home because they're on their own home internet, but we still want to make sure that, and then I'll scroll down and I will save that. And save, and we're ready to go. So now I have all kinds of different slides that I can use. There are tons of different things that you can do with your students to make your slide deck a little bit more interactive, and you can really see how your students are doing as they're going through the information that you're presenting today. So I really love this. I think it's just a great tool. So once you're completely finished with adding all of your different slides to your Google Slides, you'll go over here and you'll click Save and go to Nearpod. So this is going to upload it to Nearpod so that it will be ready to go for our students. So I'll click on Save and go to Nearpod, and it will open up my Nearpod account. Now it's all ready to go. Oh, sorry, I didn't click on that either. Going too fast. So when I hover my mouse over, I have the live lesson and then the student paste as my 2 options. And then down here I have my edit and my preview. So my preview lets me look through and see what the students will see. I have my edit feature here, which I can go in and I can fix specific things. If I click on these 3 dots, I can share it, I can duplicate it, export it as a PDF. I can get my reports over it, which you will need if you're sharing that, and then I can delete it. So if you're in the classroom, this is what that live lesson is. It starts right now. You're presenting it to your students. The student paste is what we're really going to be doing if you're using this with our students at this time. So I'll click student paste, and I'm going to click on this. And it will give my students 29 days to open this this slide before I have to resend it to the students. They can join with the code here, or I can send it out in email, on social media, as a link. I can embed it on a website, Google Classroom, the Remind, and then Microsoft Teams. So I'm going to click on Google Classroom. And I will just add it to the first class that's on the top here. Alright, so while Luke High School Tech Training, I want this to be an assignment, and then I'll click Go. I want it to go to all my students. I'm going to just have it as ungraded. I want it to be due on that, and then I'll click and I'll just put this under social studies. So that's all ready to go. This is blocking it. And then I'll click assign. And I'm going to go ahead and view that so I can see what students are seeing on there. So there's my high school tech training. It's going to keep thinking. It should pop right up. Oh, there we go. So I'll go to my classwork. Social studies is at the top here. I'm going to click American Revolution, and then you can see there's the website that takes me directly into the Nearpod assignment. So hopefully this will open up for us and we can actually look at it from the student perspective. If not, I will show you what it looks like in the preview. Here it comes. So the first thing the students are going to do is they're going to put their names in. It can be their first name, last name, you know, any of that kind of stuff, and then they're going to join session. This is nice for you because then you're going to be able to see which students have joined and gone through and which ones haven't. So I'll click join session, and now they're ready to go. So they're going to go through the slides as usual until they get to their first interactive slide. So you can see here it is. I can click play and it will start the movie. This one's just a little 3-minute video. They can go through that, see the information from there, and then they can just click next. And so there's more information from the original slide deck. And then we hit another Nearpod interactive, and this one is that 360. And so now students can go on and they can look around, see what they have, look at the building, and that kind of stuff. And this might be, if you're doing a VR, maybe the slide before, say, all right, I'm going to shift you over to a VR. It's going to show you a 360 picture. If you're on a computer, make sure that you're clicking and dragging so you can see the whole picture around, and then give a description on what they're going to be seeing. Or this can be done afterwards too. And students can go back if they want. They don't have to, stay in. They can go back if they want to look at the information again before they move forward. So I'm going to skip this one and go straight to the next one. So there's my Valley Forge. And then here's my first open-ended question. So it's the first time it is going to ask them to allow for a record audio. I'm going to go through here, I'll answer these questions, or I can record my audio and go. I know we're getting to, we've got about half an hour left. So here's my poll. So I just want to say John Addams and submit. And then once they submit, it takes them directly to the next question. So I'll just go on here, and then I'll do that one, and then, let's click submit. Click submit, and the students will get instant feedback if you have put that in. So it shows me that, oh, you got 100% correct, and then it'll show your answers on here as well. So you're giving that instant feedback on, yeah, you did a really good job here, without you actually, sitting there and grading them immediately. So go from the poll. Here is the YouTube video, so I can click on that. Start the video. Whoa, that's loud. So I can go through there. Oh, I'm back to the Treaty of Paris. And then it will take me directly over and open up that link. So they won't